We are going to go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us for our United Way of Greater Nashville's virtual tour Tuesday. My name is Ashley McDonald, and I'm an account manager for the United Way's workplace engagement team. I have the distinct pleasure of presenting today's Tour Tuesday webinar. Tour Tuesday is an opportunity for folks to get an inside look at the incredible work happening in our community through United Way's partner agencies. For fellow nonprofit staff, this is an informative way to learn about other staff providers and programs that might be beneficial to your own clients. For those of you looking to get involved, Tour Tuesday can be a great way to hear about current volunteer and engagement opportunities. And for our United Way donors, this is a fantastic opportunity to hear from the agencies who are putting your dollars to work in the community. Each tour features agencies and programs from across Greater Nashville as we come together to discuss current community conditions. Since May is Mental Health Awareness Month, we know that living with chronic disease, mental health issues, and drug addiction is a daily struggle for many in our community. During today's tour, we'll hear from our partner organizations who provide clients with the education and resources they need to manage their conditions so they can live healthy and productive lives. We have the great privilege of being joined by representatives from 3 of our United Way partner agencies: Park Center, Insight Counseling Centers, and Center for Living and Learning. At the end of today's session, attendees will have the opportunity to ask questions of our panelists through the Q&A box, so please hold on to those great questions until the end. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our panelists. First, we have Ashley Bloom, the Director of Philanthropy at Park Center. Also with us is Pam Brown, the Executive Director of Insight Counseling. And last but not least, we have Fran Clifford, the Executive Director for the Center for Living and Learning, joining us today. So let's get started with our Tour Tuesday. I'd like for each of you to share about your services that you provide, your service region, and the impact you have on the community and the outcomes that you're seeing. So Ashley, if you could start us off, that would be great.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to share my screen because I have a slide deck here for us. My name is Ashley Blum, and I am the Director of Philanthropy with Park Center. And I have been at Park Center for going on 16 years, so it's really special to get to be here. I used to be the director of our homeless outreach program, where I got to lead with a lot of outreach workers and store coordinators, and I've recently moved into the role to be able to share these stories, to be able to raise money, find volunteers, get more people involved with our organization. So today I'm just going to run through some slides to talk about what Park Center is as a whole, and then also speak specifically about the 3 programs that United Way supports. So our mission at Park Center is we empower people who have mental illness and substance use disorders to live and work in their communities. We have been part of the Nashville community since 1984, being a place of hope and recovery for people that really would like to expand mental health care past their maybe medication management or therapy. We work alongside those services to be able to continue to work with the person. So what we do is we provide services for individuals seeking support for their mental health and substance use, and offer treatment services we have IOP and OP, we have supported housing, day programs, assistance with finding jobs, support with disability benefits for people experiencing mental illness, substance use disorder, as well as homelessness. So we believe in recovery. We believe that recovery is possible for people, and we also believe that recovery looks different for everyone. This definition of recovery is one that we stand by, that was from SAMHSA. It's a process of change through which individuals improve their health and wellness, live self-directed lives, and strive to reach their full potential. This is a big deal for us. Again, we are working alongside like more traditional treatment providers while providing kind of the unconventional way of mental health treatment, a holistic approach, and really to support people through their recovery journey. So our approach is that we feel that a person is not defined by their diagnosis. So our programs follow a person-centered approach. We participate in, or we call the people that we serve members, because they are part of our community. They are members of our community. So we don't call them clients or patients. We call them members. And so I like to just say that because you'll hear me saying members a lot. And I don't want you to think that we're talking about maybe members of the staff or whatnot. They're members of our program. They work alongside us in their recovery journey. So we have several different programs at Park Center. The majority of our programs are Davidson County based. We do have one program that works in other counties. I'll get to that in a second. But we have substance use recovery program. We have an IOP and OP program. We have psychosocial rehabilitation. This is our day program where people can come and learn things like medication management, money management, community engagement, things like that. Illness management and recovery. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with IMR, but we do a lot of that as well. We have an emerging adults program that serves 18 to 25-year-olds. All of our programs at Park Center are 18 and up, but we do have specific programs for the 18 to 25 age range. We have housing focused programs, and we have a homeless outreach team in the SOAR program. I'll talk a little bit more about that. We have supported housing. This is our 24-hour housing program, supportive housing program where they live and they have 24-hour staff, and that helps them learn basic skills to work towards independent living. And then we have permanent supportive housing, which I'll also talk about in a minute, and then our supported employment program. So this is just a quick, very high level overview of all of our services. But today I'm just going to kind of go into the ones more in detail of the ones that United Way supports. So through our housing focused services, we have the SOAR program, and then we have permanent supportive housing. Our homeless outreach program has been in existence since 2006. 2005, 2006-ish. Staff are hired in 2006, so it was actually started in 2005. But and we have been doing the SOAR model. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with SOAR, but it stands for SSI, SSDI, Outreach, Access, and Recovery. And that's a fast-track disability model to help people who are experiencing a housing crisis and helping them get connected to disability benefits through Social Security. We are one of the top programs in the nation. Tennessee is actually number 2, which is really cool. And I've been able to be a part of that since about 2008. So it's been really cool to get to watch this program really succeed, and how many people we've been able to support. We've helped over 1,700 people get approved for disability benefits in an average of 52 days. And so for those that don't know, a disability application takes a long time. Nationally, the average is about 120 days, and we're getting people approved in 52 days. The approach is all about meeting people where they are. And you can see in this photo, we're like out, next to a train track. We don't expect people to come in to be served by us. We meet people where they live in their community. It may be under a bridge, in their tent. We're squatting down next to their tents, signing disability paperwork. It's all about, our approach is all about bringing services to the people. So our SOAR eligibility, they have to be experiencing a mental health diagnosis or co-occurring disorder. So that's substance use along with mental illness. They can also be experiencing physical health limitations, but due to a lot of our funding sources, they require us to work with people experiencing mental illness. And so, we do, like I said, we do work with people that also have physical limitations, but it has to coincide with a mental illness. They must be unhoused or in a housing crisis. So this can be people that are couch surfing, people going in and out of hospitals, things like that. And then they must reside in Davidson County for our SOAR program. They must be in mental health treatment or for the last 12 months, or have treatment that explains that this condition is going to last 12 months. And they can't be in a current claim, and they can't be working and making more than $1,470 a month. That's what's called substantial gainful activity. So there is a myth that you can't work and get disability benefits at the same time, and that it's not true. You can be working, you just have to be making less than SGA, that substantial gainful activity of 1470. So all of our referrals come through either our website or through this phone number here, and I'm happy to send these slides out, at the end if this will be helpful. So our permanent supportive housing program is an intensive community-based service program that that helps prevent things like eviction, hospitalizations, incarcerations, and homelessness, because we have supportive services that go along with the independent housing. We also use a model that is housing first, and that we go based off of a housing first fidelity, which means that we don't we don't do screenings for credit. We don't look at rental history. We don't, it doesn't matter if you've had justice involvement. It's all because we think that housing is healthcare. Housing is the first step to getting someone their needs met. And we also know that people with, maybe they had an eviction in their past because of something that they were going through then, but that doesn't mean that they're going through it now. And so it's really important that we mention this, because we are affordable housing, and we remove all those barriers to people getting connected to housing. So it's just really important to us that we provide that for the Nashville community. So our PSH referrals come through our coordinated entry system with Nashville. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with that process, but it's a community collective, essentially, where they have to be in what's called the Homeless Management Information System to be referred to our programs, to our housing programs, which a lot of different organizations use CE. So I don't see that as an issue, but we take referrals through CE. We also take internal referrals. We take referrals from outside organizations as well. And then same, if you want to make a referral, you go to our website, or you can call this number. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about our supported employment program. This is our program that utilizes the individual placement and support model, where we work to help find people jobs of their choice and competitive jobs, as opposed to say, oh, Walmart has an opening. We utilize the IPS model to help people find the jobs of their choice, instead of what's available. Now, if someone wants to work at Walmart and there's a Walmart opening, then by all means, we'll place them there. But this model is really special because it a lot of people just go and find a job where they can make money, but this really focuses on people's strengths. So people that have a diagnosis of mental illness or co-occurring disorder, they must want to work. And then this is the program that serves Davidson, Rutherford, Sumner, and Wilson County. And there's also zero exclusion. Just like our housing program, employment will work with anybody that says they want to work. Regardless if they're in mental health treatment or substance use treatment, they could be actively using substances. We, again, feel like work and housing are two main sources of helping someone become stable in their life. And then the IPS referrals come from community partners such as Mental Health Cooperative, Centerstone, Mental Health Court, et cetera. Someone is also able to make a referral for themselves. But we do like to mention that external referrals are always prioritized because of our funding source. We have to follow this IPS fidelity, and due to the funding source, they want to prioritize external referrals rather than Park Center's internal referrals. They still take our referrals, they just prioritize the ones coming from externally. And then also same, to make a referral, go to our website, or you can call that number. And I appreciate y'all's time for us to kind of run through these programs. There's a lot more that goes into what we do, but I appreciate this time to be able to explain and talk more about Park Center. And if you want, you can visit our website, and it tells you a whole lot more about the work. And also there's several success stories on there as well, if y'all would like to read about how members have impacted our lives and we've impacted theirs. So thank you for the time.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for all of that great information. One thing that really stood out to me was the fact that you bring the services to the people in need. So thank you so much for all the great work that you do. And now we will move over to Pam with Insight Counseling Center. We're glad to have you, Pam. Go ahead.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And before I share my remarks, we have a client testimonial, and Ashley McDonald is being kind enough to help me get that video up and running. Thank you, Ashley.
Yes.
People don't know it. Firstborn, only daughter. I have 2 brothers, and we're stair-stepped, so they're like a year and 2 years apart. We all grew up like, real close. What keeps me busy? I love reading. I'm definitely a homebody, especially with COVID. And my name is Kayla, and this is my story. It was pretty reckless. I was drinking a lot, but not like alcoholic levels. It was manageable, of course. Just when I went out, I didn't know my limit. I would always pass my limit. So pretty reckless. My partners were not good partners. Yeah, I didn't really have a relationship with my mom. I met a new friend, and she was saying how she went to therapy, and I was like, wait, people go to therapy in real life? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, isn't that really expensive? She's like, no, it's income based. And I was like, is it? So, and she gave me this app, Black Therapies for Black Girls. So I found one, and then, I just emailed her. She had to be the same race as me, had to be older than me. I looked at her website. I think I read her background. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Somebody to just help me grow. She had me crying the first session. I can't even cry to myself. Just by myself, I cannot cry. And she said something, and I'm like, and I started bawling. I was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. And the fact that you did this in less than 45 minutes, and this has been disrupting my whole life. She was wonderful. And that happened every time I was in a session. I'm not lying. It's just, it all makes sense. Why I was the way I was. It was just and as soon as she would point something out, I was like, oh yeah, this gotta go, or this behavior gotta go. Can't do that anymore. And I just would apply it in life, and life started getting better. Oh, less drinking, definitely less drinking. I know my limits now, and I really don't even drink that often. It kind of was just escape mechanism, but now it's what are you escaping from? Life's dead. You can say no now to people, especially guys. I was just wait, no, I'm good, or I have a 5-date rule, or no, you can't come over. We can meet in public, but you're not gonna come over. I have a relationship with my mother now. And that was a big one for me, because I was my mama's biggest fan, but going to therapy made me realize she was only doing the best she could. Therapy is great. Everybody should do this.
Ashley, thank you for your help with that. And we have about 13 client testimonials on our website. So I invite you anytime you want to look at those and see other people's experiences with therapy. Those are on at insightcounselingcenters.org. So a little bit more about us. Insight Counseling Centers has been serving, we started in the Nashville community in 1985, and over time we have grown to have 8 physical locations in 5 counties. And we also serve clients via telehealth across the state. The last time I pulled a report, we had served clients in 40 Tennessee counties. So we are growing over time. Our mission is to provide spiritually informed therapy to individuals, couples, and families. We restore lives to wholeness, mental, emotional, and spiritual wholeness. Last year, we served 1,068 clients, and we provided 7,887 sessions to those clients. 85% of our clients rely on our generous income-based fee scale in order to afford therapy. And the United Way of Greater Nashville, that support helps us provide that income-based fee scale to clients who live in the United Way service area. So thank you to United Way. Thank you to you on the call who donate to United Way, because it really does make a difference. You just saw Kayla's story and how her life has gotten better. And again, there are 12 other stories on our website that you can check out to see how their lives are better. And so many others who haven't come on camera yet, and we're growing that bank. In addition to therapy, we have a robust community education program. I want therapy to become so destigmatized that seeking support is no different than getting a broken bone set. That is my goal. I hope we're getting there. We still have a long way to go, but things are getting better in the stigma regard, in my opinion. But we do, again, have a robust community education program to help inform and to help break down stigma. We do routinely online webinars. We do in-person workshops that are 60 to 90 minutes. And 3 times a year, we do deep dive workshops that we call Fifth Fridays. Guess when they occur? The 5th Fridays of a month. And so except for the 4th quarter, because we don't think anyone wants to come to a 3-hour workshop the last Friday of December. But the workshop the deep dive 5th Friday workshop we had in March dealt with mental fitness. The one in June is going to take place actually in Murfreesboro, and it's going to be about parenting. And then the September 5th Friday will be in Clarksville, and I'm not sure what that presenter has designed yet for that. We are happy to bring workshops to your workplace. So your workplace, your worship community, your membership organization. Anytime we receive inquiries along those lines, we work with you to develop the topic and content that will be useful to your organization. So please feel free to reach out to us if we can support you in that way. And another important part of our mission is training the next generation of therapists. We have a very competitive, I must say, internship program. We receive more applications than we have spots for. Our office manager told me yesterday we have 1 spot left for the fall semester. Once that's filled, we are turning our attention to filling those spots for January 2024. Hard to believe, but we worked that far ahead because of the interest. So I look forward to fielding questions when we get to that Q&A portion, but that's what I've got for you right now. And thank you for your time and attention. I'll pitch it back to Ashley McDonald.
Awesome, Pam. Thank you so much. It's great to know that 85% of your client base is benefiting from what we can provide as United Way. So everyone deserves to have affordable mental health resources. So thank you so much. Now we will move on to Fran Clifford with the Center for Living and Learning.
Thank you, Ashley, and thanks to United Way for hosting this today, including the Center for Living and Learning. The Center for Living and Learning was started by my family for our brother who was diagnosed with schizophrenia when he was 19 years old. And like many families, they don't know where to turn. It kind of comes from out of nowhere most times, and it can be very devastating to families. So this is a personal story for me as well. Donald was 19 and I was 16. And there's 7 children in our family, and we all adore Donald to this day. He is the peacemaker of the family. So he was stricken by severe schizophrenia with the full-blown voices, hallucinations, and this is before the better medications came along. So we looked around the country for a place for Donald, and he was in Los Angeles and New York. And in 1986, we decided, since he was not doing well, he had developed tardive dyskinesia and some really bad side effects from the first generation of medication. So our family bought a 30-acre farm in Franklin near Leapers Fork, Tennessee, and opened up center. The center was launched, and we received our license as a residential treatment facility through the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse. When we bought the property, there was one house. Today there's 4. 2 are for 24-hour care and 2 are transitional independent living houses. We provide an on-site vocational training program, and we teach job skills, and we prepare people for job readiness for jobs in the community. So this is a really important aspect to getting people living more independently, building their self-esteem, their stamina, and placing them in jobs in the community. We develop an individual employment plan with each one of them, and we work very intensely with each person to set them up for success when they do go into the job place. We send a job coach with them and get them really comfortable working in the job, and we have a really great job retention at the center. I don't know that we've ever had anyone lose their job because they weren't doing their job. So we've been so fortunate over the years, over 35 years, to have the same medical director, Dr. William Petrie, and he has pioneered new medications for our residents before they were even approved by the Federal Drug Administration, so we could provide the very best medications for people. And that has been really terrific towards getting people stabilized and thriving and working and really reaching their highest level of functioning. We call our residents residents because when they're living there, they're residing there, and that's what we call them. And so we just, as Dr. Petrie puts it, what we do is labor intensive. We work with each person developing their care plan with their plans of care, and that's part of our licensure requirement, to develop a plan of care as a residential treatment facility. So they're working on their individual plans of care daily, and it's just really fun to see the progress that people make. The outcomes for people with severe and persistent mental illness, or mental illness in general, are so much better now than they were, previously. When we started the center 35 years ago, we really didn't know what the outcomes would be for the people that came to live there. And we've seen people graduate, they're living in apartments in the community and working, and very stable in most cases. So it's exciting to see that for mental health, very exciting. love what I do. I love watching people get better and live productive lives. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Fran, for sharing your story about how it all got started and about your brother, and just what a blessing to the families out there for family members to have a place to call their own and to lead a productive life. So thank you so much for sharing that information.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So thank you all for sharing all of your credible services and what your organizations do throughout the community. Looking ahead, what are your plans going forward, and what do you hope to achieve in the remainder of this year? Can you share any success stories, and what are some silver linings? And you can just choose whoever wants to go first. Any takers?
I'm happy to jump in. I'm happy to jump in. So I heard about 3 parts to the question. I'll just refer back to Kayla's story as a success. She's an example of a success story. And we have many, many stories similar to hers where people are being restored to wholeness and life Kayla said it best, life gets better. Looking ahead, we've not announced this formally, but we've shared informally, and happy for you to know, we have been invited to open a new center in Cookeville, Tennessee. I know that's outside of the greater Nashville service area, but you may have friends and acquaintances in Cookeville who might be interested in knowing that we're coming. We will be inside of Cookeville First United Methodist Church. So we're seeking a therapist with which to contract in the Cookeville area. That's taking up a lot of our time and energy right now, and in an excited way. We're very, very excited about that. Let's see, what was there was another part of that question I want to make sure that we captured.
Yes, any success stories, silver linings, and then
silver linings. I wanted to speak to the silver linings, and I invite my colleagues on the panel to weigh in on this as well. Pre-pandemic, it was known that we were told that 20% of the population was struggling with a mental health concern, and during the pandemic, it got up to about 40% or so. I think that was underreported. And here we are coming out of the pandemic, and those percentages are still very high of the percentage of people who are struggling with a mental health issue. Of the percentage back pre-pandemic, of the 20% who were quietly dealing with something, 60% of that number did not reach out for support. And 2 reasons for that were cost and stigma. So I wanted to talk about the stigma for a minute. Anecdotally, we hear people when they call our intake line, and people can self-refer, and most do. When they call us, to set up counseling, they say things like, "I never thought I would need therapy," and "here I am." And we're seeing that it's becoming a little less stigmatized, perhaps because what we all went through collectively as a society. We're giving each other a little more grace when there is a need for mental health support. I'm glad to see that, and I'll repeat what I said earlier. I want seeking mental health care to become just as routine as going to get a broken bone set. If you break your arm and you go into the clinic or the hospital, no one is stigmatizing you for that. The brain is one other body part that can go awry, and there is no shame in reaching out for support. So I'd be interested if my colleagues on the call are also finding things getting a little better in the stigma arena.
Thank you so much, Pam. What do you guys think, Fran and Ashley?
Oh, yes, the stigma and creating awareness is a huge thing. And of course, what we're doing today is creating awareness too for folks listening. I'll share one quick silver lining. Recently, a fellow from Louisiana came here. He actually is originally from Tennessee, but he was stuck in a forensic hospital there and he never thought he'd get out. So a close friend of the family called me and they got him out. We got him out. And once they knew he was coming to a residential treatment facility in Tennessee where he'd have 24-hour care, they let him out, but it was a court order was holding him. He really hadn't even he'd never done anything really to be in that unit. But anyway, he's been here for a few months and he's already working in Franklin and doing just extremely well. So it's just, that's probably been one of the neatest things we've done recently, is to save somebody that probably would have spent his entire life in a forensic hospital in a very antiquated system that won't let people out once they're there. So
That's a tremendous success story. Thank you so much for sharing that.
you're
That's
welcome.
awesome. Ashley, do you have any success stories or silver linings to share?
Of course. And, Fran and Pam, it's an honor to get to be with you all on this panel. Like, the work y'all are doing is incredible. And
Same to you.
I've been in this field for 16 years, and it's just beautiful to continue to hear of programs that you never knew about. Right. And like, we're kind of all like close to the same age, like our programs are. We were in 1984, and I think, Pam, you said 1985, and then Fran, were y'all 1986 or 7?
Yes.
So it's like we're all similar, and it's just, I'm like taking all these notes, and like I'm excited to share with our CPO, like, services that we can connect our folks to if we ever needed it, So thank you. It's an honor to be with y'all on this panel. So I'd like to share a success story of someone that I've worked with, and I'm just watching him thrive, and then it's going to lead into kind of some of our next steps in our program because he's part of that. So I met Dwayne in 2017, and he had been experiencing homelessness for 14 years. He had not had a haircut in 14 years, had not had a shower in 14 years, and he was estranged from family. And he was one of the kindest humans that I'd ever met. And it was experiencing a pretty significant mental health, some pretty significant mental health symptoms and vision impairments. And he was often looked at as someone who was using substances, because he would have scrapes all over his body, but it was all from, and a lot of people look at that as like, oh, someone was intoxicated and they fell, right? Well, really, he couldn't see sidewalks, or he couldn't see where like the side of the wall was, and he would be walking and just scrape his face on the side. And we engaged with him, and we actually got the call from someone who would like frequently go to the Dunkin' Donuts, and like they were like, well, we've been helping him for like a year, and so I started engaging with him, and we ended up getting him connected to services and getting him disability benefits, and then he got into our housing. He got into our supported housing for a short period of time, where he got the psychosocial rehabilitation. He started going to our day program, and then he moved into our independent housing, and he has been doing amazing. And still in our independent housing every day, he comes to our day program. Well, recently we have been on the path to shift our day program back to a clubhouse model. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with that model or not. There's a few in the state that actually just one other in the state in Tennessee, but there are some that so we started as a clubhouse model, when we started the day program, and we've just kind of gotten away from it. So we're reshifting, and a lot of our staff are at a training this week and next week, and they took Dwayne with them as a member of the day program to be able to learn from his perspective and to be able to bring it back to share this model with the rest of his peers. And it's just an amazing success and an amazing transition for him to watch him go through such an amazing transition but he never could have experienced that transition if it weren't for his courage and his abilities to like ask for help, and his like he would continue to show up, and he would continue to like learn a cell phone, and like know what it's like to go to a barber shop on his own and get a haircut, right? Like, and so it's just it's that courage, it's the hard work that our folks go through alongside like some of our services. That's one thing, because like, yes, the stigma is huge. The one thing that we at Park Center have been really working on is focusing on, we say, we're member centered and all of this stuff, but really like it's us saying, look at that courage it took to do X, Y, or Z, or look at how hard that was for that person to do X, Y, and Z. And it's really helping shift how people look at mental illness and how people look at, so it's not just us saying, oh, look at all the work we did or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how did we support that person through their courage? So it's been really a great, shift for us in transition, for us, not only watching Dwayne go through it, but watching a lot of our other members go through it as well.
That is such a cool story. What courage Dwayne had to be on the streets for that long and to make the choice to turn his life around. Thanks to you guys.
And to be in a training, like to travel, you got a per diem check, like all of these things that just like and he's doing great. Like this is their day, they're 2 days in now, but like he's going to be there all next week too, like staying in a hotel. Like these are things that like he's never experienced before.
Yeah, certainly nothing he ever dreamed about happening. So, wow, what a blessing. Thank you for sharing that story. Okay, guys, so next question is, do you have any volunteer opportunities? We often get asked, what are your volunteer opportunities with your partner agencies? We always try to get our corporate partners involved. So what do you have on tap potentially for this summer?
I'll speak. We do a community supported agriculture at the Center for Living and Learning. We do organic gardening, and it takes a lot of hands on deck to do all that. Our residents really enjoy it, but it gives volunteers from the community an opportunity to come in and work alongside of our residents, and they're learning job skills or learning to stay on task, and having the volunteers there working with them really provides, the community support that they enjoy, people coming in from the community. So that would be ours, to come and work in the organic garden. And it's going to be a really good one this year because we've got a great horticulturist overseeing it. So we'd love to have volunteers in that capacity.
Awesome. And how would people find out about the times, the dates, that kind of thing? On the website potentially?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or they can call the horticulture program, and that's all on the website.
Okay.
Information.
Great. Okay. What about you, Ashley? Do you have anything?
Yes, we do. We're really growing since I started in this position, we're really growing our volunteer program. So some things that I can think of, like our supported housing, they're looking for some raised beds to be built, and some gardening to be done, because we own all of our housing properties for our PSH program. We have a lot of there's like fences that need to be repaired. There may be like a lot of like redo of mulch, like yard work, that kind of stuff. But we also have things like lunch buddies. Like at our day program, we have people that can volunteer to come and eat lunch with our members, just to like give them companions, which is really sweet. We always have like our warehouse, like we purchase like welcome home kits for people that are moving into housing. So we always have the need to like unbox, supplies and organize it in the warehouse. So there's always that kind of opportunity as well. Tutoring. Right now we're trying to solicit some volunteers for doing some focus groups for us, because we want members to be able to just share freely with what they're going through, as opposed to having a staff in the room. So there's like all types of opportunities, and they can, if someone's interested in volunteering, you can always, this is on our website, but you can always email development@parkcenternashville.org. So it's not someone's specific name, it's just just development@parkcenternashville.org. That's also on our website. Yeah, and there's a lot of other opportunities as well, but for the summer, those are kind of the big ones. Oh, we also do a foot clinic. And so the foot clinic is also a good one that we try to do quarterly for our members, but it's really just depending on the volunteers that we have that want to do it.
Okay, good to know. And quick question, I did a little bit of research prior to this. I saw an opportunity packing welcome home kits. Is that still an ongoing opportunity for you guys?
Yes, that's kind of similar to like the warehouse thing. So we'll purchase a bunch of stuff, and those will need to be unpacked. And then sometimes we package them into like little drawstring bags, but to give out to people. We also have like, we're trying to get donations for welcome home kits, because they're around $500 a piece. Because we buy, if you imagine moving from under a bridge and you have nothing, you don't have a bed, you don't have anything. So it's like, we're also looking for donations for those items as well.
Good to know. We can probably get some of our corporate partners involved in that. So awesome. Okay, Pam, what about you? Any volunteer opportunities this summer?
We do. Our volunteer opportunities are year round. It's not summer specific, but we do have more people raise their hand during the summer, particularly students. Our intake line is staffed by volunteers, and we have, when someone calls, picking up that telephone, that phone can weigh 5,000 pounds when you're calling for therapy. And so it's important to us that there is a caring voice on the other end of the line. So we do have these volunteer opportunities available. They come in 3-hour shifts. Most people commit to 3 hours per week. The training happens on site at our admin office. One thing that our volunteers find very attractive is once they have been trained, it's a remote opportunity, so they can volunteer from home. So we would love to talk to anyone who would have interest in learning more about serving as one of our volunteer intake practitioners, or VIPs, as we affectionately call them.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that information, all of you. And at this point, I know a lot of information has been shared, and some of our attendees might have questions for the group or a specific panelist. Attendees, please feel free to submit your questions using the link at the bottom of your screen. We'll use the next few minutes just to get through as many questions as we can. I've got it up right now and I do not see any questions, but we can wait just a minute or two and see if anything pops up. Okay, we do have one. Are you or members of your team open to being contacted by a student who is exploring possible career paths in the mental health field for a career conversation?
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds great. Those are always fun, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Okay, so yes, yes, and yes. Let's see. What is the greatest challenge for each of your organizations? So maybe if each of you could say like what your greatest challenge recently may have been.
I'll jump in there. I think for me, thinking about how much we do around marketing and communications, and then you work that and you still hear people say, oh, I had no idea you were there. So I think just trying to continue to get the word out. We do have a very good search engine optimization. So when people type in mental health counseling income-based fee scale, we're one of the top ones to pop up. But just knowing that so many people need us and still don't know we're there regardless of our efforts.
Yeah, makes sense. What about you, Fran and Ashley? Anything in particular, the biggest challenge for your organization?
I like to keep, I'm very conscientious, I think, and I'm sure the other panelists are, about their staff and their well-being, because, you know, working in this field is very rewarding, but it's also, there is burnout, and I think that's my challenge with our staff. Not that we have great staff retention, and they're so committed to the center, but I think, well, we do plans, we do self-care for them, and that's a high priority, where they get self-care through an organization called Day 7. And it's a high priority because they are very loyal and committed. And so I think I don't know that it's necessarily a challenge, but it is something that stays right in the forefront of my mind, is making sure we're taking care of staff.
I think it's wonderful that you prioritize that. I'm sure they appreciate that as well. Ashley, what about you?
So I agree with both of those things that y'all said. I mean, it's very, I feel like us as mental health organizations, we often share similar strengths and challenges, I think, you know. I think that what I am going to say is that a lot of the cities, a lot of Nashville's decisions around you know, criminalizing homelessness, and a lot of you know, a lot of the gentrification is pushing people further away from care, and that means that people are getting pushed further away from our services, and we're having to go and find people but further away. So, you know, then that's like a cost issue. That's like, we can't find people issue. That's, you know, and I just think that a lot of that impacts our ability to do the work, and find the folks. And that's really tough on us, you know, like that's really tough on us when we want to make sure that we're serving a diverse group of folks. I mean, that's really, really important to me and to us as an organization, that we are serving everyone that could benefit from our care. And, you know, and so when people are getting pushed further and further away, or they're getting deeper and deeper underground, like literally, it's harder for us to find folks to do outreach and engage them, to bring them into our services. So that's a big challenge, I think, that just kind of sits on our hearts. That's like, you know, like how, and then it takes us deeper and deeper into like, okay, how can we change what we're doing so we can find more people? I think that's the one I'm going to go with.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see how that could be an ongoing challenge that's out of your control.
Yep. And then that goes back to the staff, like taking care of staff, because vicarious trauma is really big. If we're finding people deeper and deeper, like in like places that are really tough to see. I mean, well, it's all tough to see, right? Like our work is so hard. And we got to take care of them even more. You know, we were developing things like weekly to work on vicarious traumas and secondary traumas. And I mean, therapists are, you know, you've got that too, you know, like they're having to, secondary trauma is huge and all this work, but
yeah. Well, thank you. Thank each one of you for sharing those details with us today. I know some of you may have further questions after today's presentation. Each attendee will receive a follow-up email with my contact information and the contact of the program representatives from today's tour. please feel free to reach out to any of us for more information. And thank you again to Ashley, Pam, and Fran for taking the time to be with us today. I know I speak for all of us in this virtual space and saying that we are so grateful for the work that you do and that you've done to continue at a time when the community needs you more than ever. United Way is so grateful to be a partner in and the support of your work. I also want to send a thank you to all of our attendees who joined us today. Thank you for the time you devoted to our community and for your year-round support of United Way. This work could not happen without you. We hope that you'll join us again for Tour Tuesday in the future. Information on our next tour will be posted soon on United Way's events and meetings webpage. And thank you again. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you again, ladies.